Vowel. According to Cambridge Learner Dictionary, vowel is a speech sound produced by humans when the breath flows out through the mouth without being blocked by the teeth, tongue, or lips. There are 5 English vowels: A, E, I, O, and U. Sometimes Y can also function as vowels, but it is not considered a vowel in and of itself.
Vowels are described based on the physical dimension, such as closeness, height, and vagueness or frontness. Actually, there is one more vowel called rounding, but in this case, we're not going to explain more about it. First, the closeness category refers to the position of the mandible, open-close category. Second, the height of the vowel refers to the vertical position of the tongue towards the palatal area, high-low category. Third, the vagueness, or also known as frontness, refers to the horizontal position of the tongue in relation to the back or front of the mouth. For the purposes of clarity and consistency of the parameters of vowel sounds, thus, it is determined sequentially based on the 3 aspects of vowel as follows, describing the sound based on the closeness, height, and vagueness aspects. Closeness. So now, we're going to try to pronounce it. First, in the words like far, part, and hurt. The second one is It's the laziest sound in English. In the words like today, teacher, the, and around. And the last one is ooh in the words like you, to, shoe, who, and computer. Closeness. In addition, we will see on vowel chart, several vowels are not clearly defined using the closeness labels. In order to provide clear and descriptive labels for all vowels, phoneticians have agreed on the use of the terms near open and near close to describe the additional vowels. Thus, the closeness description labels will be open, near open, open mid, close mid, near close, and close. Now, let me tell you about close. Close vowels use a closed mandible position and a high tongue position, the tongue actually resting on the alveolar ridge. And then, close mid. Close mid vowels use a closed mandible position with a tongue position that is located halfway between the palatal area and the floor of the mouth. And then, mid. Mid vowels is used a middle position of the mandible with a tongue being located in central position of the palatal area and the floor of the mouth. And then, open mid. Open mid vowels use a partially depressed position of the mandible with the tongue position being located halfway between the palatal area and the floor of the mouth. And then, open. Open vowels use a depressed position of the mandible with a low position of the tongue. Now, let me give you an example about what is closeness. First, closed vowels. For example, beat and boot. And then near close. For example, beat and put. And then close mid. For example, bait and boat. And then mid vowels, for example, today. And then open mid vowels, for example, bed. And then near mid, for example, bat. And the last one is open vowels, for example, bum. Height. Now we're going to try to pronounce it. For example, consider the vowel sound like E and A. If you say both of these vowels in succession, you should feel your tongue going up and down as you say E, A, E, A, E, A. Height. When describing height, three values are used. First, height, very close to the roof of the mouth. For example, E in words like heat, U in words like hood. Second, mid, midway between roof of mouth and jaw. For example, A in words like hate, O in words like hope, and in words like the. Third, low, lower to the jaw. For example, a in words like hat, and a in words like hot.
Backness. Backness refers to how far front and back the tongue is when producing the vowel. For example, when you say I and you. If you say both of these vowels in succession, you should feel your tongue is moving forward and backward. This is so that I is front vowels and you is back vowels. A front vowel is a class of vowel sounds used in some spoken languages, its defining characteristic being that the highest point of the tongue is positioned relatively in front in the mouth without creating a constriction that would make it a consonant. The example of a word is beat, hit, act, attack, and far. A central vowel is any in a class of vowel sound used in some spoken languages. The defining characteristic of a central vowel is that the tongue is positioned halfway between a front vowel and a back vowel. The example of a word is about and shirt. And a back vowel is any in a class of vowel sound used in spoken language. The defining characteristic of a back vowel is that the highest point of the tongue is positioned relatively back in the mouth without creating a constriction that would be classified as a consonant. The example of a word is food, push, law, and run. Diphthong. Diphthong might be a combination of vowel sound. There is a glide or movement of the tongue, lips, and jaw from one pure vowel sound to another. The word diphthong comes from the Greek and means two voices or two sounds. In phonetics, a diphthong is a vowel in which there is a noticeable sound change within the same syllable.
Centering diphthong end with a glide from a front or back position toward a more central position. The central position is a vowels, called centering because a is a central vowel, refers to the diagram IPA. Centering diphthong includes ear, for example, near, ur, for example, pure, and air, for example, hair. Closing diphthongs end with a glide towards a higher position in the mouth, not a central position like before. These groups have a, for example, pay, I, for example, 5, O, for example, go, ow, for example, now, oi, for example, boy.